Good day everyone, I am Rohana A. Moksin, the first reporter of the lesson Understanding Culture. So I know that most of us are familiar with the term culture, but in this video, we will delve into deeper understanding about culture. So let's get started. Culture in its broadest sense is cultivated behavior, that is the totality of a person's learned, accumulated experience which is socially transmitted, or more briefly, behavior through social learning. We learn culture from the people around us as we grow up. It's not something we choose. It's how we learn to live and understand the world. So in order to understand culture, we have to interact and communicate. But the question is the communication a culture? The answer is yes. Culture is communication. Communication is culture. Culture and communication are inseparable. Culture is transmitted, maintained, and changed through communication, language, media, all shaping cultural values, knowledge, and identity. Communication isn't just a tool for culture, it is culture. So when we heard the term culture, the first thing that comes in our mind is our religious practices, the cultural dance, our traditions. But your pencil can also be a culture. Your ball pens, your toys, your bed. Culture isn't just about the known materials in our society. Because we have two types of culture, the material culture and the non-material culture. Material culture is the physical things produced by a society, such as cars, house, clothes, and others. While non-material culture is the intangible things produced by a society, such as ideas, beliefs, norms, attitude of a society, and others. Now let's proceed to the characteristics of culture. So culture is shared, learned, dynamic, symbolic, universal, and diverse. So let's cite an example that will involve all these characteristics of culture. Let's cite an example in a birthday party. Think about the idea of a birthday party. It's something almost everyone understands. We all know it's a day to celebrate someone turning another year old. That shared understanding is the base of all birthday traditions we have. It's not just something one person does. It's something we all know and do in our own ways. Nobody is born knowing how to have a birthday party. We learn how. We learn to give. We learn to give gifts, sing happy birthday, eat cake, and have fun. We learn this from our families and the people around us. It's not something natural, it's something we learn. Birthday parties aren't the same as they were years ago. Things change. The kinds of gifts, the type of parties, even how we make wishes, it all changes over time. This shows us that culture is always changing and growing. The things we do at birthday parties have special meanings. A birthday cake isn't just a cake. It means sharing and celebrating. Candles mean making wishes. Presents show we care about the people. These things are understood by everyone who celebrates birthdays. Even though different places celebrate birthdays in different ways, almost every people celebrate birthdays or similar important days in a person's life. This shows that even though the details are different, the basic idea of celebrating is the same all over the world. And even in one place, like one country, people celebrate birthdays in many different ways. Some have big parties, others have small ones, some give many gifts, some give just a few. This shows that culture isn't just one thing. It allows for everyone to express themselves in their own way. Let's proceed to the three perspectives of culture: the ethnocentrism, xenocentrism, and cultural relativism. Ethnocentrism is judging other cultures based on the standards and values of your own culture. You believe your culture is superior or the right way. While xenocentrism, believing that other cultures are superior to your own. You place a higher value on foreign or exotic cultures. Meanwhile, cultural relativism, trying to understand a culture on its own terms, without judging it based on their own cultural values. You recognize that different cultures have different values and practices. Now let's cite an example that will include these three perspectives of culture. For example, people from America think a firm handshake shows you're confident and trustworthy, while people from India might think a limp handshake is more polite. Someone showing ethnocentrism would think their way of shaking hands is better. Someone showing xenocentrism would think the other culture's way is better. And someone showing cultural relativism would understand that both ways were okay, depending on where you're from. Now let's proceed to the aspects of cultures. We have 5 aspects of cultures: the enculturation, acculturation, assimilation, accommodation, and indoctrination. Enculturation is learning your own culture. It's the process of absorbing your culture's values, beliefs, and behaviors from a young age. This happens naturally in your own culture. Next is acculturation. Acculturation is adapting to a new culture. This is the process of learning and adapting the customs and values of a different culture, while still maintaining aspects of your original culture. It's like blending two cultures together. Assimilation is completely adapting a new culture and losing your original culture. It's like becoming a part of the new culture and forgetting your old one. Next one is the accommodation. Accommodation is adapting some aspects of a new culture but maintaining your own identity. It's like picking and choosing which parts of the new culture you want to adopt. You change a little but stay mostly yourself. Last but not the least is the indoctrination. Indoctrination is being forcibly taught a set of beliefs or values, often without allowing for critical thinking or questioning. This is not a natural process of cultural adaptation, but rather a forceful imposition of ideas. So again, let's cite an example that will include all these aspects of culture. So for example, a girl named Maya lived up in a small village in the Philippines. Maya learns her native culture from her family and community. She learns Tagalog, participates in traditional festivals, and understands the importance of family and respect for elders. This is her enculturation, the process of absorbing her own culture. When Maya turns 16, her family moves to a bustling city in the United States. She starts attending in a school, learns English, and enjoys American pop music. She also adopts some American fashion trends, but continues to wear traditional Filipino clothing for special occasions. This is her acculturation, adapting to a new culture while still retaining aspects of her own. Meanwhile, Maya's classmate, Sarah, is a second-generation American whose family immigrated from Mexico. Sarah has completely adopted American culture, speaking only English, celebrating American holidays, and identifying primarily as American. This is her assimilation, losing her original cultural identity and fully embracing a new one. Also, Maya's friend Alex is from a small town in the American South. Alex has a very different cultural background than Maya, but they both enjoy playing basketball together. Alex adjusts his speech pattern to be more understandable to Maya. But he doesn't try to adopt her Filipino culture or vice versa. This is accommodation, making minor adjustments to communication or behavior to facilitate interaction without losing their individual identities. Meanwhile, in Maya's new school, there is a group of students who try to convince others to join their political beliefs. They use strong rhetoric and pressure tactics, leaving little room for critical thought or questioning. This is indoctrination, the forceful imposition of beliefs without allowing for independent thinking. So that is how the aspects of cultures work in our life. Now let's proceed to norms. Social norms are the unspoken rules of how people are expected to behave in a society. They are like guidelines for how to act in different situations so everyone can get along. These rules can be formal, like laws and written rules, or informal, like manners, customs, and traditions. But if you go against the norms, that is called deviance. Deviance in culture is the act of going against the expectations or norms of a particular society or group. It can include minor actions like swearing in public or skipping school, or more serious violations like theft, drug use, or violence. Norms has three types: folkways, mores, and laws. Folkways, these are the everyday customs and traditions. They're not strictly enforced, but breaking them might make you seem odd. Example, saying please and thank you, wearing appropriate clothing for a situation. If you don't follow this, people might think you are rude or unusual, but there wouldn't be serious consequences. Number two is mores. These are more important norms than folkways. They reflect a society's values and beliefs. Violating mores can have serious social consequences. Example, chewing with your mouth open is considered rude in many cultures. Ignoring someone who is talking to you is considered disrespectful. Stealing, it is illegal and morally wrong. Breaking these norms can lead to social disapproval. The last but not the least is the laws. These are formal rules enforced by the government. Breaking laws leads to legal penalties. For example, speeding, theft, murder. These actions are illegal and result in fines, imprisonment, or other punishment. Elements of cultural values and beliefs. Cultures have values, things they believe are important. These values shape what a society thinks is right and wrong, and how people should act. People who follow these values get rewarded, while those who don't get punished. These values aren't set in stone. They change over time and differ between cultures. For example, many cultures value honesty. Telling the truth is seen as a positive behavior, and people who are honest are often respected. Conversely, lying is seen as a negative behavior, and people who lie may face consequences like losing trust or facing punishment. However, in some situations, white lies, which is small lies told to avoid hurting someone's feelings, might be considered acceptable, showing the nuanced nature of cultural values. This contrasts with cultures where directness and frankness are highly valued, even if it means being blunt or potentially hurtful.
Hello everyone, so my name is Badrodin, that's Samsamin Sultan. So in this part of the video, we are going to talk about the folk culture, pop culture, the subculture, counterculture, cultural change, diffusion and globalization, and last one we have the cultural landscapes. Now the first one, we have the folk culture. The folk culture is practiced by a small homogeneous people. They live in isolated areas. They are not about they are not about having the large numbers on their culture, but they are about on preserving their culture. Now, this type of culture resists changes because that is why they have slow changes over time. Now, the next one we have the pop culture. The pop culture is the culture in today, which is in the modern day. We have the music, such as the pop music. Yes, the pop culture is in short for popular culture, where we have here is like the designs and everything.
Lemons! Fresh squeezed lemonade for sale, only 25 cents. Lemons!
Lemonade, come get your lemonade. Just a pint of pennies for this perfect concoction could be yours.
Lemons!
Lemon! Ew, you got lemons on my car. I'm gonna take their money.
Ginger Pale, you just mug children.
I took their money. Hi, I'm Ginger Pale. Welcome to G Poppy's Poppy Shoppy. We're gonna be talking about pops, soda pop, whatever you want to call it. How can I help you? You do have money, right? Ooh, that's too bad, because it's 50 cents a pop, Chief. Get out of my sight! Calm down. It was only a soft drink, after all. But why is it called a soft drink? I mean, an aluminum can carrying a bunch of liquid don't exactly scream soft to me. Well, it's because any drink containing less than 0.5% alcohol is referred to as a soft drink. Any more and you got a wobbly pop on your hands. You know, like beer and wine and grandpa's old cough medicine. We're getting really off track. Let's talk about pop now. Did you know that I was originally green? Ew. Fake news. A lot of people seem to think that Coca-Cola used to be green, but I'm pretty sure that rumor just came from the green bottles that Coke was originally packaged in. The original recipe always called for caramel coloring, and this is because back in 1886, when Coke was invented, they added brown color to help hide impurities between the small batches. Well, it's been about a week. I don't think I need this Band-Aid anymore. Can I get some help over here? Guy fall in? Yeah, a guy fell in. Man, second time this week. Just toss some of this caramelized sugar in there. No one will know. Is that a Band-Aid? Yeah, sounds kinda gross, but you gotta remember this is back in a time where the FDA didn't exist and everyone was pro-cocaine. At the same time, pops actually existed as medicinal beverages. That's the taste of health. Let's go shopping at the old 1850 pop shop, which was just a pharmacy. Ooh, Pepsi, 1893. This was originally called Brad's Drink, and it was marketed as a digestive aid. I mean, I've watched videos of cola ripping rust off metal, so I'm pretty sure it could help break down food in your stomach. But who's this Brad guy? If I tried to sell you something called Ginger Pale's Drink, would you be a little skeptical? But probably. If it can break down rust, it can break down food. Drink Pepsi. Ooh, 7-Up, 1929. This contained lithium citrate, which was a mood-enhancing drug, which made this drink pretty popular during its release right around the Great Depression and the stock market crash of 1929. It was also marketed as slenderizing, and that's a little weird because lithium and soda pop are both known for weight gain, so I don't know about that. Gaining too much weight drinking? Are you sad? Huh, us too. Drink 7-Up. And we can't forget about Coke, 1886. It was invented as a cure for morphine addictions. It gained its popularity because it included coca leaf extract, which did contain a small amount of cocaine. I mean, yeah, sure, just replace your old addiction with a new and potentially worse one. Kick the addiction by getting a new and potentially worse one. Drink Coca-Cola. Root beer, 1876. This was one of the many sodas that contain a bunch of alcohol, even though the guy who originally marketed root beer was a teetotaler. That's a guy who doesn't drink. He swore off drinking. Now, he did this so that he could call it beer, so it would appeal more to the local coal miners, but I gotta think that if he swore off alcohol, does that mean he didn't try his own drink before selling it? Like beer? This says beer, drink root beer, now with alcohol. Mountain Dew, 1940. Mountain Dew just means moonshine. It was made as a syrup to mix with moonshine. I hate Mountain Dew. We suck. Don't drink us. Mountain Dew is trash.
Ginger Pale just said Mountain Dew is gross. Gamers, rise!
The store will now be closing due to the Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906 and the Prohibition of 1920.
Neat. Stop! We're the pop cops! Wait, what? Jerry, I thought we were the Fizz Fuzz. He's getting away!
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
Jerry, don't touch those. We got a team for that. Now that we have the FDA, there's a little bit more regulation, and pop's a bit better to put into your body. But even with that said, I think I drink a little too much. These things are like 100 calories each, 4 times a day, times 30. That's 12,000 calories a month in pop! Disgusting.
What? That's so mean. What the heck?
Whoops, that's the window, my bad. Disgusting. But if I switch over to Diet Pop, problem solved. 0 calories, baby.
But diet soda contains aspartame and that gives you the...
Just do everything in moderation and you won't die, probably. We all gotta go sometime.
So the next one we have the cultural change. Where here in the cultural change, we know that culture is dynamic. It changes over time. Now, here in cultural change, we can set for an example is a culture that is carving their cultural things in before, but now they use these machines to carve their cultural things, and that is an example of cultural change because wherein today in my explanation wherein before they have their carving methods to create their cultural things, wherein today they use machine now to create their cultural things. Now, here in diffusion, the next one is in the diffusion. Here in diffusion, diffusion is the spreading of culture. When we say diffusion, it might be because of the natural changes or natural phenomenon or human phenomenon. Diffusion can lead to natural phenomenon and human phenomenon. When we say natural phenomenon, these are like the typhoons or the floodings, and in the human phenomenon, we can set for an example is the war. So the war may cause a culture to separate or diffuse from many places because of that. Now, the next one we have the globalization. The globalization is, we can set for an example is the K-pop. Here in the Philippines, we most of the people here like adopts the K-pop culture in Korea. So that is why the K-pop culture is diffusing smoothly and is adopted by many people. The next one we have the cultural landscapes, which is the last one. So the cultural landscapes, this is the type of culture that they represent their environment. Where we can set for an example is the type of culture where there are people living in hot places and cold places. In cold places, they represent their environment because they dress thick dresses because it's cold in their environment. However, in the hotter environment, they dress thinly because they have hotter environment. And that is all. Thank you.